Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second comic characters you've never heard of. This is your Comic Maven Nicole D'Andria. So, my favorite merc with the mouth, Deadpool, finally got his own movie. If you haven't seen it yet and you enjoy violence, vulgarity, and unicorns, go see it. In the meantime, here are some comic book characters that appear in the Deadpool movie who you've probably never heard of. Get to know Weasel, Blind Al, and Negasonic Teenage Warhead in this special Deadpool-related edition of comic characters you've never heard of. Spoilers for these characters and slight spoilers for their roles in the Deadpool movie to follow.
Jack Hammer, better known as Weasel, is a weapons dealer and Deadpool's friend. He went to the same college as Peter Parker. His college career as an ace student, however, was ruined by Deadpool, who used a time-traveling machine and posed as Peter Parker in order to take Weasel out for a drinking binge. Because of this, Jack ended up specializing in technology and making weapons, which often included getting himself into a lot of trouble. Despite appearing meek and defenseless, Weasel has proven himself with some impressive schemes and technology. Once he was imprisoned in a Hydra base. However, he quickly became their leader and created a device called the Penetrator. He gave this device, which allows for teleportation and many innuendos, to every member in the base, tricking them into teleporting themselves away. Weasel also created a suit called the House when he went to Las Vegas. He used this suit to protect casinos from robbers, charging for his services. This plan would have been perfect, but then Deadpool gets involved. Long story short, he ruins Weasel's reputation by pretending to be the House, and becomes a hero himself in the process. Weasel tries to kill him, but ends up getting put into the box, a small room booby-trapped with sharp objects. Deadpool forgets about Weasel for an unknown amount of time. Eventually, he is freed. Weasel is actually one of the people who teamed up with Big Bertha to kill Deadpool for being such a lousy friend. Weasel shows up in the game Marvel Ultimate Alliance, in which he becomes a member of S.H.I.E.L.D. He also makes an appearance in the Deadpool movie, played by T.J. Miller. He's Deadpool's friend and a bartender. I prefer Weasel and Deadpool as friends. The two actually make a pretty good team. Deadpool even recorded every episode of Battlestar Galactica for Weasel. Now, if that is not a sign of true friendship, I don't know what is. This is Blind Al, short for Althea, though she prefers Alfred. She is Deadpool's former roommate and hostage. She used to be a member of British intelligence. Deadpool was actually hired to kill her where she was stationed in Zaire before becoming a super-healing assassin, but for unknown reasons he killed everyone else instead. Later, when Deadpool went through the Weapon X program and went insane, he kidnapped Blind Al. She was similar to a mother figure to Deadpool, and they often played jokes on one another. Al especially enjoyed putting laxatives into his food. However, Deadpool would often treat her quite cruelly, putting her in the box when she misbehaved, sometimes with Weasel, and not allowing her to have visitors. Despite his treatment of her, Blind Al was one of Deadpool's closest friends. He even gave her Deuce the Devil Dog, who was previously offered to Matt Murdock as his seeing eye dog, though Blind Al hates Deuce. But she does appreciate Deadpool for saving her life, and also believes he can become a good person. Blind Al also dated Captain America in the 1940s and inspired him, leading him to give her a medal. She joined Weasel, Bertha, and several others when they tried to kill Deadpool. Blind Al and Deadpool have somehow managed to remain friends. He invited her to his wedding with a Braille invitation, but because Deadpool's Braille is horrible, she ends up going to a gang funeral by mistake. Blind Al appears in the Deadpool movie. She's played by Leslie Uggams and is his roommate in the film. I enjoy Blind Al's rapport with Deadpool, when Deadpool isn't bringing out his worst side around her. Hopefully we'll see her dealing with more of his antics in the future, both in comics and in film. Negasonic Teenage Warhead, whose real name is Ellie Phimister, is a mutant. She lived on Genosha, an island that was taken over by Magneto and served as a safe haven for mutants. Ellie was trained under Emma Frost. She had the ability to see the future through her nightmares and had premonitions. Her name was inspired by Monster Magnet's song Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Ellie has a nightmare 50 times in one night that everyone on Genosha is going to die. Sentinels actually came to the island and destroyed it, wiping out 16 million people. Ellie died during this attack, which happens in the same issue she first appears in. Her corpse was carried by Emma Frost, who had a mental breakdown when she found out Ellie was dead. However, Ellie, like most characters in comics, would not remain dead. She was resurrected by a mutant named Selene. She went on to become one of Selene's right-hand slaves. Ellie dies again when the Black Queen absorbs the souls of deceased mutants that were resurrected. I'm surprised such a minor character was picked to appear in the Deadpool movie, especially since she doesn't appear in any Deadpool comics. Then I remembered her name. Director Tim Miller loved her name, and so does Deadpool in the movie, ironic considering her name has landed her on several worst superhero names lists. Negasonic Teenage Warhead is played in the movie by Brianna Hildebrand. She is a trainee of Colossus. The film does not show her having premonitions, and instead has her live up to her awesome name. She is able to turn herself and the objects around her into literal bombs, shooting off towards her enemies. Basically, the comic and film do not intersect at all here, and you can completely thank Negasonic Teenage Warhead's name for her appearance in the Deadpool film. I'm thinking we may see her make an appearance in future Deadpool comics, in the form of her movie counterpart, and not her comic counterpart, which really does lack a lot of depth. She went from a shy precog with the lifespan of an issue to a snarky goth chick who will happily blow you away. Deadpool's fun, but his friends add to the laughs in both the comics and the movie. Tell me what you think of them in the comments below. Also, let me know if you have any additional suggestions for characters I should feature in this series, Deadpool related or not. Check out my website, comicmaven.com, for more Deadpool related news stories and other comic book related material. The two websites I write for, Entertainment Fuse and Comic Frontline, feature additional articles from lots of talented writers, which you should definitely see for yourself. Keep it geeky, everyone.